What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Crossing the Finish Line. I'm your host, as always, Cody Kaler. We have a great episode for you guys today with a good friend of mine and a partner of ours over here at A&Z Trucking, Mr. Nick Schrock. Nick is the CEO and founder of Valoroo Staffing Services, nearshore staffing company that we've partnered with for, I think, over a year now and have seen great success. So I'm really excited to hear Nick's story, hear the story of how he started Valoroo and where they're going in the future. So if you guys aren't familiar with them, definitely check them out. They definitely will be a huge part in helping a lot of brokerages, small, medium, large, scale up very quickly and efficiently. So let's go ahead and bring on Nick. Nick, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, man. How are you doing? Yeah, you're over in sunny San Diego, right?
That's where our headquarters is. We actually moved up to Reno, Nevada.
Oh, nice.
Maybe in November. So still spend a lot of time in San Diego, but I'm up here now. So
nice. How do you like it up there?
Like it up here. It's very much more Midwestern weather. Like it was 70 yesterday, and then it was snowing today. I'm like looking outside, going, "It's like, oh, this is different." And it's May. I thought we were done, but
yeah, I grew up right outside Salt Lake City, so I'm used to those freak ass snowstorms in May and even June. And I live in great sunny Phoenix, Arizona now, so snow is never. That's basically an afterthought for us. So. But awesome. Well, Nick, I'm glad to have you on the show. Like I had mentioned before, we partnered with you guys for, I'm pretty sure it's about a year and a half now. We've had great success. I'm super excited to talk about how you started the company, where you guys are heading in the future, and really how you can help some of my my audience out there that have smaller. I know a lot of my audience are 5-10 people brokerages, and at least from my experience, it's been so much easier to be able to find talent for certain positions and certain hours. Actually, you guys have been a huge help for us for after hours, nights, weekends, and stuff like that, compared to always stateside employees. And I think everyone has their opinion on that, but from a brokerage standpoint, from a P&L standpoint, and from an actual talent standpoint, there's definitely value with what you guys are doing. So
thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So why don't we just start off, give a quick intro of yourself, Valoroo, for anybody who doesn't know who you guys are, and, kind of how you got into this industry.
Yeah. So, appreciate me on. Nick Schrock, founder, CEO of Valoroo, and we do offshore, nearshore staffing, very specific to supply chain. It's really the only industry we do. So that's either 3PL, asset-based companies, shippers, freight forwarders. It's kind of our niche market. And then, so we got started about 6 years ago. And before this, I was working at a freight brokerage. So they're large now. It's now Flock Freight. But when I joined, it was 12 of us in the back room of a carrier that the CEO owned. And we were just trying to really punch above our weight, figure out, it's like, hey, how do we scale this? We had some venture dollars, but it's like, hey, how do we 10x every single year and really blow this up? But it's like we didn't have the manpower to support it. So naturally, it's like, well, let's see if we can get some more cost-effective labor somewhere else in the world that can help us scale this. And at the time, I was a broker, right? I was just cold calling shippers, trying to move freight. I was very much a metrics, data-driven guy. So the VP of sales asked me, it's like, hey, can you try to build a lead gen team and make this work? Took that over, was successful, built some other offshore teams. And that's really how I made a lot of the relationships that I have now. We primarily used the Philippines at first, and now we've expanded into Mexico, Belize, and other parts of the world. And so that's kind of, after a few years with them, the company grew kind of exponentially till we honestly had more people offshore than we had onshore. And I thought it's like, hey, this is kind of a unique talent I've developed, building offshore teams specific to logistics companies, and just started doing it for other people. And 6 years later, here we are. So it's and we tend to double every year. We're still growing really rapidly, and it helps. It helps that I feel like we do a really good job. So once people work with us, they'll work with us for years and years and years. So it makes it pretty easy to grow.
Oh yeah, I agree. And the learning curve is very, very quick with at least the talent that you guys have provided for us. Everybody has experience in what we're doing. It's not, we're not out at colleges trying to harvest, 20-year-olds who have no idea what logistics even is. I can be the first one to attest, at 18, when I was entering the major workforce, I had no clue what logistics was or, supply chain, anything like that. I worked for Walmart. And yeah, that's the last thing on your mind. So I appreciate the talent that you guys have. It was very intriguing to me. So we demoed you guys and then a couple others when we first got into this. And it was intriguing to me that you guys were finding so much talent in the Philippines versus everything else I was hearing was down south, right? Mexico, Colombia, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And the time zone was so attractive to us because where we were struggling to hire people stateside was basically 9 to 5 shift for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so it worked out perfect for us. And it's been a great, partnership since then. So how did you get into the Philippines versus what everybody else was doing?
Yeah, I think I got lucky there because the CEO of Flockatime, his other company had already leveraged the Philippines.
Okay.
So they had some connections, they had some success using that. So like, oh, you should probably just hire there as well. I'm like, okay, if you guys are already doing this, it's like we kind of just jumped on the bandwagon. But then now it's like, look, today it's like I feel like an expert in offshoring. So it's like I know what percentage of which countries speak English and which proficiency and all these little data. And outside of logistics, Philippines is the outsourcing center of the world. Like most industries prioritize the Philippines, not just because of the time zone, but also the percentage of the population that's educated in English. They were a U.S. territory through the 1940s. So they're culturally very aligned with us, the work ethic, et cetera, et cetera. So I got lucky is the real answer. But we've expanded to some nearshore options for a number of reasons, but our primary source is still the Philippines. Like as you mentioned, we don't really hire kids. Sure, we have a few that are rock stars that kind of apply, but on average, we're looking for someone that has 8 to 10 years of experience, have already worked in the trucking industry. It's like I don't want to teach someone what a BOL is, what a POD is. I'd rather focus on, hey, they used McLeod before. Maybe you're on 3PL systems. Now we just need to teach them the differences of your TMS and these different things. And it just makes our onboarding so much easier.
Yeah. And yeah, I like you guys still do the two for one, right? So as soon as that was a great, very, very attractive as well. I literally just got off a phone call an hour ago with our HR about hiring, and everybody knows logistics has huge turnover, especially like new entries, right? I hear numbers as high as like 90% turnover when it's your first job into logistics. So, when you're having to take a shotgun approach over here stateside, you're going to hire 10 people and hope that 2 of them stick. That's rough. So to hear that you guys were saying, hey, your first, 60 days?
Yep.
Did you guys do that? So your first 60 days, we're going to offer you guys up 2 candidates. If you like both of them at the end of that 60 days, you can keep both of them. If not, you get to pick which one, fits your company a little bit better, and we'll go with that. And I thought it was genius because it does give us options. It doesn't, it's human nature to want people to succeed. So sometimes I feel like it's easier to just say, okay, well, they're not working out now, but let's give them a few more months and see if they work out. Nobody likes firing people, cutting people out. That's not fun for anyone. So having those options was just great. And from a marketing standpoint, just FYI, I thought it was genius because I was like, if you give us two really good candidates, I'm going to lean towards, I needed 1, but I'm going to grab 2. So from a marketing standpoint, I thought it was great that you guys were doing that.
And it hovers, but it's probably 60 to 70% of people adopt. Like they end up absorbing those extra candidates. But it also gives us ground cover because even like we hire, dozens of people a month. Hiring is still hard. It's so hard it's like people interview really well. And then within the first 30 days, you just know they're not going to work out, but you've already invested. And this, it's like, well, now you just have to get it 50% right? And so it makes it so well. And if they're great and you don't have a spot, I've got plenty of jobs. We're never laying good people off. That's like, I will pay them for 6 months until I have a role because good people are valuable. It's like, I'll find a place for them. I tell a lot of my other business owner friends of kind of how we do this because we do 2-for-1s everywhere. It's like anytime, even internally, we're going to hire 2, kind of just follow that. Like it's so ruthless. You're hiring somebody to fire them out. It's like, well, if they're good, we'll find a place for them. It's not good talent. It's not like you have to let it go. So, but yeah, it works out. It's my favorite thing we do is kind of our 2-for-1 hiring, and it's good for you guys because it's basically a 50%. Yeah, we're losing money early on, but if we can set your team up for success, like we said, you'll stick with us forever because now you have really good people. They're onboarded. That whole time we're building out the SOPs, standard operating procedures for you, and everything else. So it works out.
Yeah, it's great, and I can attest. Like, if you send us 2 rock stars, we will absorb that. Right. We'll find a place for them because talent is very hard to find these days. A lot of people don't want to work. Different generation, I guess.
Yeah.
I was raised by a military family, so we didn't have a choice but to work. So I don't think that's quite the case for very many people these days. But
well, it's good for us, the people that do want to work. It's
exactly
easier for us
right.
to rise to the top and kind of 100%. Be high performers. So
less competition for sure.
Yeah.
Give a big shout out to my friend Sonny Sharma. He was commenting. Hope is definitely the right way to put it, because it is. I mean, you can definitely hire 10 people and you're still hoping that at least 2 stick it out. And in this industry, it's very, very hard to find. So, Nick is providing a very good service for a lot of you guys out there. And for some of you guys that are kind of on the fence about it, my company, at least we were on the fence about it for a while until it made sense. And then when it made sense, we're never going to turn back, right? We're always going to have a split with nearshore and stateside. And I think a large portion of the brokerages that I know probably have the same thing. Most of them aren't going to be fully stateside. Most of them are never going to be 100% nearshoring, but there's a huge value in what you guys are doing. And you guys offer, so what roles do you guys offer exactly? I know that we use our after hours and account management, but you guys also do sales and accounting, right?
So we do carrier sales and accounting.
Okay.
So I think the main thing we don't do is sales. Like we do it for some of our customers that have been with them this long time. But if someone calls me up and it's like, hey, Nick, I want you to call shippers, I would recommend they keep that stateside. We just haven't seen a high success. It's like, it might be 40-50% of those clients have a lot of success. I don't want to sell that.
Yeah.
Right? Where
makes
operationally, sense. I have like a 98% success rate where it's like, I'm going to place, they're going to drive value for you. You're going to keep them a long time. That's the type of value we want to drive. But so like carrier sales, logistics coordinators, dispatchers, accounting roles, after hours, track and trace, kind of those traditional operational supports. We do get more specific. This is a smaller portion of our business, but it's like senior credit managers and like more senior level roles, developers and things like that. But I would say our bread and butter is very much operational support, kind of helping the freight move, making sure drivers are supported, talking to shippers, communicating updates to them, different things like that.
Okay. Yeah. And that totally makes sense. And there's a lot of, I got a good friend, Chris Jolly. You probably know Jolly, right?
Oh,
Freight Coach. And he always tells me automate everything you can. And then, what you can't, figure out a way to automate in 10 years. And there's certain things that you can't automate quite yet. But they're also non-revenue producing tasks, right? And those non-revenue producing tasks I would rather make sure that my my senior level guys, my stateside, that I just want them focused on producing revenue for the company nonstop. Track and trace and that type of stuff is just something that if you can't automate it all the time, and there's ways to automate some of it. We're very produce heavy. So, multi-pick, multi-stop, BOLs are never right, type stuff. Having an actual human body that can think through that process versus automating it is key. And so being able to utilize you guys for that. And you got a lot of critical thinkers too, which is fantastic. They're not just, hey, I'm just going from A to Z, and if there's a problem in between, I don't know how to fix it. So really cool stuff you guys are doing. What's on the horizon for you guys? Anything new this year?
Main thing for us that's new is we're building out we always talk about automation, is trying to build some more unique automation on a customer by customer basis. Because a lot of where I really think the automation helps, it's not kind of replacing the work we're already doing. It's what's the work we're not able to get to, where it's either it's not valuable enough for a human to do anyways, even if they are offshore. It's like, or what are we doing that is repeatable? Like you said, we try to hire people that are problem solvers, that can understand how the freight's moving and solve problems, not just update some website somewhere over and over again. Let's automate that piece. Let's work with some providers that are already out there. I would say that's the big thing that's changing for us, is just how do we support our customers in multiple ways. So that way we're not, if it should be automated, no human should be doing it, whether they're on the States, they're in the Philippines and Colombia.
Yep.
Let's figure out a way to automate that so we can solve other problems for our clients and just deliver more value.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't know, it's a tough market out there too. So I think it's just going to get tougher with everything I keep hearing economically. And
it's been tough for 3 years. What's going on?
Right?
Everybody says it's going to be tougher. I've heard this freight recession is going to be over for 18 months now. I'm ready for it.
Right. Yeah. I was on the shipper side for 13 years and I jumped into the freight side right when 19 was really starting to cook. And it's like, 19 was not a good year for brokers. And then COVID took off, completely changed it. So like, my first couple of years was complete roller coaster. And I was like, what the hell did I get into? Right. Like from a shipper side, at least I had some control over some things, but as a brokerage, it's like, the market is the market. So, and now, we came down off of that. And now this freight recession has drug on longer than, from my understanding, than any other freight recession that they've been tracking. And it's like, when is it going to end? Everybody keeps saying it's like supposed to be on the horizon, right? I actually had a conversation with one of our customers not too long ago, and they were like, look, we've been projecting that rates were going to go up for a year and a half now, and it's not happening. So, we got to change what we're doing. You guys got to change what you guys are doing. And I think everybody's starting to realize nobody has that crystal ball, even though everybody keeps talking about it.
Yeah.
This could be a 6-month problem. This could be another 2-year problem. Nobody really knows.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it has, at least I'd be surprised if it goes down from where it is on any. So I think there's only, we're either going to be flat or kind of go up. But like you said, it's like guessing the freight market is like trying to guess the regular market. You know, it's just that you just got to kind of do your best in the current environment. Make sure you're doing the fundamentals. I think everyone tries our most successful customers are not the people that are really, really fancy. They don't have automation on every end of the spectrum, right? They're not trying up to pull all. Yes, they're using these type of things. They're using offshoring. They're doing all these right things, but they're doing the small things right. They're talking to their customers. They're delivering on time. They're quoting on time. All these different things is really what will make you stand out. It's just good old fashioned, freight brokerage has been really successful. And same thing on the carrier side. Just don't be an asshole, right? It's like just deliver, do your job, all these different things. And just like an employee, you will stand out amongst the pack. There's so many bad actors in our industry. If you just do those things, you're going to be successful in any market.
Agreed. The little things will separate you big time. People work with people that they like at the end of the day, right? I love to say that we all fight over the same capacity. So the same driver's probably working with 15 different brokers, right? So what's our differentiator? Our differentiator is I'm going to get to know you. You're going to get to know me. I'm going to pick up the phone at 10 o'clock at night if there's a problem, if you have an issue, if you have a load that gets dropped. I always call them, F at Fridays, where on the shipper side, you have 20 loads that get dropped on you at 3 p.m. on a Friday, and you're pulling your hair out saying F this, F that. And when you can help that person out, when you can help that customer out, your friend out, your partner out, when they're having those, you will be a partner with those guys for life. And that's doing the basics. That's doing, delivering on time. It's funny that you mentioned that, because that should be just like, that's part of business. That metric should be, if you can't attain delivering on time, then you shouldn't be moving freight. But there's so many people that don't prioritize that as much as they should. There's or
they just bend the metric.
Yeah.
Well, they're not delivering on time, but it says they deliver on time.
Correct.
Right.
And it's like, guys, come on. Like, the basics are the basics, pick it up on time, deliver on time, communicate in between, and make sure if there's any deviation from plan A, that you have a solid plan B, because we all have the same plan A. Every single broker has the same plan A. Pick it up with a carrier, deliver it on time.
Right.
But, you can probably say that happens 50 or 60% of the time. That other 40%, that's all plan B, and whoever has the strongest plan B is going to win in this game.
Right.
So
I love it's a lot, just effort, like just putting in the effort, having the right processes, to the support systems to execute on it, and you'll win. You'll win a lot of freight. You'll win. And like you said, that stuff that got dropped on you on Friday, it got dropped on your shipper on Friday too.
Exactly.
He hasn't been sitting on it since Tuesday, right? Maybe, but I doubt it. Right? We've talked to a lot of the transportation managers for the big shippers. It's like they're bright. They're really talented folks. So,
I know on my, when I was on the shipper side, if somebody, if I had a carrier drop on me on a Friday, that was not going to be a carrier for me on Monday, unless there was a good reason, right? There's always certain things that happen, but you leave your partner hanging. I'm not going to be there for you when you really need me, and I'm going to find a partner that is going to be there for me so that I can be there for them. And those are the type of partnerships that's always going to win in freight. You don't have to have the best technology, to your point. You have to have some technology in this day and age, but you don't have to have all the bells and whistles. And if that's your sales pitch, coming from somebody who's over sales for my company, if that's all you're trying to pitch, like, you really got to work on your pitch, because anybody can buy technology. Let's be honest. The technology, most of it, proprietary stuff out there, it's all redundant after a while, right? Like there's no secrets in this game. Everybody knows what everybody's doing. It just might be it's going to have a different name and a different package, but everybody's trying to do the same thing.
I remember when I was in brokerage and I was arguing with one of our carrier sales reps, and he's just like, we quoted it, market shifted from Tuesday to Thursday, whenever the pickup was. And he's like, we need to give this back. He's like, we can't cover this fish. It's like, what are you talking about? Give this back. I was like, we'll never, like, no, people give stuff back all the time. Cause I was new. It was my first brokerage job.
Yeah.
There's no way I can give this back. I was like, they'll never move. He's like, no, it's so standard in the industry. They're like, the biggest fight I've ever had is like me and this operations guy. And it's like, yeah, we gave it back. It's like, we never moved from them again. Yep. And then now that I'm like, I wish I would have had the industry knowledge just to be like, absolutely not. I'm not making that phone call. It's like, we're just going to cover it. We need to lose $200, whatever it is, so we can win another day. So,
I can't count how many RFPs I've got, 15 or 20 lanes from a customer, and I'm all excited about it. Operations come back to me and they're like, 2 or 3 of these lanes, we're never going to make money on. And I was like, oh, that's your problem. At the end of the day, I'm not going to go back to the shipper and say, hey, 3 of the 20 lanes you gave me, I'm not going to make money on. It's, at that point in time, you need to be a good partner, because chances are they're probably not going to, nobody's really going to make money. There's lanes literally that you just know they don't move frequently enough, right, to be able to get consistent capacity.
And the shippers get it; they understand. Yeah. And move it per loss, you can make money over here.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you're willing to take a loss for me, they're probably going to give you 2 or 3 lanes, and it's a wash. You'll make your money by being a good partner and understanding how freight brokerage works. But I was kind of the same way my first year. It was like, I take a load and we're produce, right? So it's decent margins, but also really decent losses when, the market shifts. So it's like taking $1,000 loss on a load. I'm like, holy crap, this is going to take me a week to make this up. And it's like, but at the end of the day, that shipper, got their melons for their ad and their stores were happy. And because of that, I got 5 or 6 loads the next week. And it's, that's just how you have to think about it. And, it's great though that you came from freight brokerage and started this. I really appreciate that, because there's a lot of people who get into logistics either on the tech side or service side, and they're like, well, we got an idea and we got some money, so we're going to put it behind it. And it's like, but you didn't live every day, you know?
Yeah. Well, we see it a lot in the tech side. Right?
Yeah.
And so, just clear, it's like, I don't own a freight brokerage. I'm not in that mix. It's like, I sell shovels at this point. I'm not actually minding the freight. But yeah, very much in the tech side, where it's just like, no, they're trying to do this. And I think the big piece they miss is how valuable the relationships are. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, I know it's technically more efficient to do it all digital and these different things, but there's so many things that goes wrong when you move this much freight across the country, and you just have to have that human interaction and human solve point. It's why I think that a lot of the digital brokers, they've had a tough 5 years. They really have. And it's because it's mainly tech people. It's mainly tech people kind of working in, trying to solve it. And I just don't, who knows, but I think people coming from freight understand it. It's like, yeah, we're all going to adopt tech and automation. No, there's no AI deniers anymore of like what's coming. Mm-hmm. However, there's not going to be a one-person $100 million brokerage anytime soon. I don't think that'll exist. So.
No, I mean, Convoy's a great example, right? I mean, I know that they did a lot of good things, but I think that the timing was wrong for that. And to your point, the approach, if you want to digitalize everything, it's not going to, maybe 30 years from now, but right now it's just not. I mean, freight is, I've been told that we're referred to as the redneck Wall Street. That's what they call freight brokers.
I like that.
But yeah, it's kind of true too, right? Instead of dealing with stocks, we're dealing with trucks. But like at the end of the day, you got to know who you're working with. You got to feel good about working with that person. And a lot of people don't want to just work through email or work through just a single link to book a load type thing. That has its place, but freight's just an old timers game, and I don't think that's ever going to change realistically.
Yeah, and I think that's why we've had so much success too, because it's not just putting people on it. It's like you have to put good people on it that can actually solve the problem. And our industry is a lot like freight. It's like there's so many bad outsourcing companies. Like how many times you've been on customer service and you're like, you have to ask the same question 3 times. Yep. You have to do all these different. You can barely understand them. And so by us just hiring more expensive, more talented people, and it's marginal, it's still a third the cost of a US hire, you can get rock stars in your business that can actually talk to your customers, that can talk to your carriers, and you're not getting calls the next day being like, man, why are you using some foreign call center that just made me mad for 45 minutes to not solve my problem? And so it's hiring the right people that can actually solve problems is just a huge benefit for different brokerages.
Huge. Yeah, I had to call Solar City earlier this week because my solar panels just stopped working, and that was the most frustrating 30 minutes of my life this week. Yeah. So I was cursing Elon's. I'm an Elon fan, but I was cursing his name for 30 minutes after that. So
yeah, but I sometimes think I should just call customer service lines to find the bad ones and then cold call those. Like, hey, I had the worst experience. Can I solve this problem for you?
That's not a bad idea, actually. Never thought about that. Yeah. That's great. So we're coming up on time here. Is there anything that you'd like to throw out there for the audience, who maybe haven't heard from you guys? Obviously, you guys can reach out to Nick. You can reach out to me. I can get you in contact with him. If anybody's out there sitting on the fence about this, do yourself a favor, at least demo it. Talk to Nick and his team out there. See what they offer. You're not going to lose anything over that. And you guys will probably find some very good talent that, maybe you're struggling over here. Stateside, especially locations, everything over here, right? Like we've got a hub in Raleigh, and I'll tell you what, Raleigh is very hard to staff logistics-minded people. It's very easy to find great tech minds over there, great medical minds, but there is very few brokerages over there. Very hard to find good people. But with that, is there anything you want to throw out there for the audience? If you guys are offering any specials right now or anything like that?
Yeah, we should have specials for something like this, but I mean, it's we lose money for the bulk of the beginning just because we know it's like, if you guys start with us, we plan to keep you forever. It's like, so first 6 days is also just basically it's a trial, meaning that at any point, if you don't like it, you guys can opt out. We'll refund the total cost. But other than that, feel free to shoot me a message. It's like, my email is nick@valoroo.com.
Very easy.
And we can just have a conversation. It's like, answer any of your questions, pricing, etc., and we can go from there.
Awesome. Well, I definitely appreciate your time today, buddy. It was great chatting with you. You guys are doing some great things over there. Everybody, like I said, check them out. The worst thing that you're going to do is do a demo with them. Hopefully you actually demo some talent that he's got over there, and you guys will be pleasantly surprised with the talent that he has put together on his team. But outside of that, guys, thanks everybody for tuning in. We will see you guys in another 2 weeks, and thank you guys.
Thanks, you. Nick. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, Nick.